Hello again, everyone. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing from Choosing Keeping, and I'm also going to be swatching what's in here. I'll show you that. It should have everything I need in here because this was a little set that I had been waiting for quite some time. I placed this order after I got the prior order with the ink and the watercolor that I wasn't all that crazy about. This watercolor, I don't think I'm going to have a problem at all. I have been seeing quite a few different people swatching these color combinations, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it. So let's go ahead and get in here and I'll show you. Oops, I think that sticker is gonna be toast. Let me see, I'm gonna try and save the sticker. Let's see how I do with that. It's just such a pretty sticker. It's just kind of hard to get it off there. And it looks like I have more stickers inside in case that doesn't work out. Oh, yep. So this guy's going to be missing a wing. Let's go ahead and leave it that way. And they're always really good about packaging all of their items like this. So each of these are separate little packages here. So this is going to be the watercolor. And then this little set comes with a sketchbook and a paintbrush. So I'll be testing all of these out to see how they work together. So here's a little postcard here. Let's see. They're just thanking me for my support and placing an order. I'm going to get the invoice off to the side because that's going to have my receipt or my address on it and all of that. Okay. All right. So let me put those aside and then open these. Let's see. I do want to end up saving at least one of these stickers. So let's see. Let's see if this will be the one here. Oh, I don't know. It's the problem when you have all these really nice things you want to keep. Okay, I'm going to work on that a little bit later. Get this brush out of here. So it has a little cover. So this is almost like a Sumi calligraphy brush. Okay, but it should work with these watercolors that I have here. I'm going to open the sketchbook next. Oh, and this is a lovely paper. I'm definitely going to have to save that. It has a really nice texture. So this is a little pink sketchbook, and I'm not quite sure the nature of the paper. I don't think it is specifically a watercolor paper. Yeah, so, but it is smooth and seems pretty heavy, so I think we should be able to do the swatches of these in there without much of a problem. Okay, just putting that paper off to the side. This one I'm definitely going to keep too. Okay. But I do think it's really nice when shops make the effort to wrap things in such a sweet little way here. Okay, so then I have three little separate color combination palettes here, and they're all based on a theme. So there is the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s are all in these. And let's see if I can figure out which is which. So I thought that was, this must be the 60s. It has some sort of like mod colors, and this paint is very similar to the Kuretake pans. I'm not sure who makes it or whether it's in any way tied to Kuretake, but they do have similar color setup here with these little pans. So I'm gonna unbox these and put them side to side here. So then this one, oh, this one looks like, don't know. Let me open all three and then I'll try and tell you what's what here. Okay. So I actually think this is the 70s, this is the 80s, and then this is the 60s. Okay, yeah. Because I thought those colors look familiar. I think the kind of favorite that most people have had of this collection is the 70s color palette, which is this one. Pretty sure it's that one. Because that one has always been selling out. So what I'm going to do when I swatch these, I'm going to go ahead, let's see, is there a front and a back? This might be, choose your own front and back because it doesn't really have any identifying markings. This is actually really nice paper in here. I'm guessing that this is probably a mixed media paper. It's smooth. So, so let's just pick a side and open it up and do the swatching here. So I'm gonna do the 60s first. Let's go ahead and go one more page in, because then I'll do it across here. All right, I'm gonna put it on this side so that I can get that. I'm going to open my little pot of water off here to the side. And then I'm gonna open up this brush so we can try out this brush. And it's very stiff right now with materials that probably gum arabic to keep it stiff in the packaging. It's kind of nice it came with this little cap on it. It seems to be dissolving fairly quickly, but I want to make sure that this brush is pretty good. And how I ended up with this whole set here is that I wanted to get one of these sets, and then I couldn't decide. I actually could not decide between the 70s and the 80s palette, which are actually off to the side here. And then I kept thinking, well, you know, the 60s is really pretty too. And ultimately, I just ended up getting all of them in this little set, because then you also get the sketchbook. So let's see. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make this sort of the back of the sketchbook. And I think, going to go to the page before and just kind of do that. And then just trying to do these all on one page. So normally colors like this take a little bit of work to wet, but this doesn't actually seem like it's going to take any work to wet, so that's good. And this brush, I don't know if I'm all that impressed with the brush. The brush was not the main attraction, in my opinion. The paints and the sketchbook are. Oh, and these are super lovely. And I don't have names for any of these colors, so it'll be interesting. Let me see if there is actually, if it has anything indicated on the back here, because sometimes they do that. No, they have numbers, but they don't have any writing in English. It probably has the name in Japanese. It does say made in Japan, but I don't have individual color numbers, or names rather. Okay, so yeah, I can definitely see how this would resemble the 60s. I mean, this is sort of like your avocado fridge there, although I think that'd be more 70s, but I'm almost positive that the other one is the 70s collection. I'm actually taking up too much space with each color now if I want to do 3 rows. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have 2 separately. A lovely purple. I got a little bit of that purple in there. These are actually re-wetting much easier than the Kuretake colors. And this is a gold. Which I probably should have done at the end, given that my water is probably going to be a little contaminated now. Okay, so that's lovely. Okay, let's go up in decades here. Yeah, because they're not labeled each one, so I'm going to put that off to the side. I'm going to put this one here. And they had examples on their website of paintings done with each of these color combinations, and they were all really, really pretty. That was part of the reason why I had such a hard time deciding. It's kind of a nice off gray, but yeah, these really are re-wetting easier. So I'm guessing they're not Kuretake, because the Kuretake are a little bit harder to re-wet. I'm not sure I would use this brush for these in future. Okay, so I will hold this up to the camera once I am done. Oops, starting to get in there. Oh, that's nice. So you get like a warm and a cool gray. Were the avocado fridges in the 60s or the 70s? I don't know. When did everybody have their avocado KitchenAid stand mixer? If you know, let me know below. The 60s were before my time. 70s, I was still fairly young, but I remember them. Okay, so that's that. This will actually work out well, and I'll actually, let me get a pen off to the side here. It's not a, it's a water-soluble pen, so it's probably not the best one to use, but let's go ahead and go on to the next group of colors. Yeah, this is definitely 80s, if for no other reason than that neon. Yeah, this brush is a little hard to control. I think it would be better for a larger paper, and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it. It's just not a style of brush that I am used to. And that's a really light color. And so is this one. I'm not going to do any color mixing today, which I think I may have already mentioned, but I think a lot of these colors would mix well. And you can actually tell that there's quite a bit of white in all of these colors, given how milky my water is getting over here. Oh, it's taupe. It's that color that everybody painted their house, or the inside of their house. I actually like that color in painting, but absolutely whoa, sorry, that's really vibrant. But I absolutely loathe that color on walls in a house. I know that because I completely painted over that color in every room of my house that I am currently in. Okay. These are really nice. I really like the texture that they have when laying them down. Oh, and that's so interesting. Sort of like a purpley brown. Okay, so I'm definitely going to do some playing with these and perhaps do a follow-up video. This brush, I think, is more really for calligraphy because it's not really, it doesn't really seem conducive to sort of the style of a traditional watercolor brush that I'm used to. It doesn't really hold its point when it's wet, but I don't know that it's necessarily supposed to. So, and I think this is a pretty inexpensive brush that's in the kit. The more expensive things are the paper and the paint colors. So I am going to put this up to the camera now and show you. And I'm not sure if it's because of the paper or the paints. Some of them did come off a little bit streaky, but often that will happen if you're not using true watercolor paper, so I'm not really blaming the paints here. And I think that this this sketchbook is really supposed to be used for mixed media. So I'm also going to do a little bit of testing on actual watercolor paper with these paints. So here we go. It's beautiful orange, sort of a dark red wine color. Avocado, I'm going to call it. Sort of a light lavender, some kind of a yellow, purple, gold. Gold's really nice. And then we have a blue here. And then, and I think, what I think is kind of nice about all these different sets is there's really not any duplication. I mean, even these two, or not duplication, but like anything that's too super similar. Because even though these two colors are a darker red, this one is very different from this one. This one's a little more vibrant. This is a little more muted. I like that. And the yellows are all very different, and so are the blues, although these two blues are kind of similar, I must say. Let's see. They look very different in the pans, though. And then we have some really light pastel colors, of course, because it's the 80s, right? You gotta have your pastels. And then this looks sort of like an ultramarine blue. And then we've got that taupe, and then we've got that super neon, I think I would call that neon orange maybe. And it even seems to have a little bit of granulation on the page. It's kind of interesting. And we have this fuchsia color here and a pink and sort of a mauvey pink. So yeah, I think these are really fun colors to play with. And I'm not quite sure what I will paint with these, what they'd be most conducive to. The paintings that they did on, they had as illustrations or examples on Choosing Keeping were each sort of floral and bird scenes, which is kind of cool given these colors. I wouldn't necessarily have automatically thought, you know, nature scene looking at these. And I really do just like wanna paint an old stand mixer next to an old avocado fridge. I had an avocado fridge growing up in San Francisco at one point, so brings back memories. We didn't have a stand mixer. We weren't that classy, so but that color definitely brings back a lot. But yeah, I'm really happy with these. So I'm going to leave these open so that they can kind of dry out. What I really liked about them is that they re-wet almost immediately, which is not the case with the Kuretake paints, which are similar to these. But so the difference is with the Kuretake paints, you add a little bit of water and it goes a long way. That you can get really great rich pigment out of them. And these you just seem to get rich pigment out of them right away. So I'm excited to play with these. All right, well, thank you for watching today. I hope you will subscribe to keep track of future videos if you haven't already. And I hope to see you next time. All right, thanks so much. Bye.